Part 7. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 61. The gunshot wound was in a location where the organs are densely packed like the chest, coupled with a large amount of blood loss. Even people who have not studied medical knowledge know that this is probably hopeless. What's more, the ambulance hasn't come yet. Therefore, most people do not think that President Zheng can still be saved. However, the netizens watching the live broadcast in the live broadcast room did not think so. Just because Yang Lin walked over. Is Yang Lin trying to save someone? Yes, Yang Lin saved the old lady before, and he seems to have some medical skills. Yes, that's right. Didn't he use Zhu Yishu to lend the old lady 3 years of Yang Shao? If Yang Shao can be restored, he should be able to cure this kind of injury. That's it, just ask anyone here to lend the president a year of his life. Are you crazy? Didn't Yang Lin say it before? If you are not sincere, you can't borrow it. If you can borrow it casually, wouldn't the world be in chaos? I think this time it is still very difficult. First of all, his life did not end naturally. Secondly, his organs such as the heart and lungs were probably hit. No matter how amazing Zhu Yishu is, can he still take out the bullets in his body? That's right. There are some injuries that traditional medicine can't help with, especially those involving internal and external injuries. Yang Lin can't operate on them. While the audience in the live broadcast room was talking a lot, Yang Lin had already possessed himself in front of President Zheng. Seeing him coming, those around him didn't know what he was going to do. Until Yang Lin pointed out the sword and tapped several places on President Zheng's body twice. Seeing this scene, a middle-aged woman who looked like an assistant next to President Zheng immediately pulled Yang Lin away. What is he doing? President Zheng is almost dying now. But before she could take action, she was stopped by an old man wearing a white tang suit. Don't cause trouble, he is cutting President Zheng's pulse. Take the pulse. Suddenly hearing this word, everyone in the exhibition hall looked strange, until someone reminded. Isn't it the legendary acupuncture point? As soon as these words came out, everyone suddenly felt like they were suddenly enlightened. But then I felt that it was a bit unreliable. After all, whether it was tapping acupuncture points or cutting off pulses, it didn't sound like what it should be in reality. But just when everyone was suspicious, the blood that had been surging out of President Zheng's body magically stopped. Seeing this scene, everyone's eyes widened instantly. It stopped so easily. That should have damaged the artery just now. I'll go, this is amazing, isn't it? Not only can he fly flowers and pick leaves, he can also touch acupuncture points and cut pulses. Could it be that he is a descendant of some ancient martial arts? What is the principle behind this? Is it something left by our ancestors? But it was obvious that Yang Lin had no intention of talking to these people at this moment. After stopping the bleeding for President Zheng, he looked at the people around him. Do you have golden needles here? Hearing his question, everyone around him immediately looked at each other. Only the old man in tang suit from before quickly searched in the sacks of the gangsters. Not long after, he pulled out a small wooden box from inside. Yes, yes. It just so happens that the collection I brought this time, old man, contains a pair of golden needles handed down from the Ming dynasty. It is said that Master Wang Yuding once used this needle. As he spoke, he handed the small wooden box to Yang Lin's hand. Yang Lin nodded repeatedly after opening the wooden box. It is indeed made of red gold, but it should not have been handed down from the Ming dynasty. It should have been imitated by later generations. After saying that, he casually picked up a golden needle and his eyes became sharp. Before anyone could react, the golden needle in his hand had already appeared on President Zheng's upper star point. The speed was so fast that no one could see his acupuncture movements clearly. And this first shot is just the beginning. Under the gaze of countless eyes, Yang Lin shot one needle faster than the other, and each needle was inserted into several large acupuncture points on President Zheng's body accurately. When all the gold needles in the needle box were inserted, President Zheng's complexion, which was already as golden as paper, magically turned rosy. When this scene fell into everyone's eyes, everyone was stunned for an instant. Only the old man in tang suit on the side became inexplicably excited after watching Yang Lin's series of actions. The 13 needles of the ghost gate are used to expel ghosts and restore Yang. I never thought I could see such a lost skill. It can really bring back people who are about to die. As he said that, he looked at Yang Lin blankly, as if he was studying why Yang Lin had such a stunt at such a young age. After hearing his words, everyone around him immediately came to his senses. Old Chu, what does it mean to exorcise ghosts and restore Yang? Not only were the people around him curious about this issue, but even the entertainment reporters quickly put the radio equipment aside. The idea of exorcising ghosts and restoring Yang was first mentioned in the Yellow Emperor's internal classic. Later, the medicine king Sun Simiao once called 13 major acupoints on the human body as ghost acupoints. Suppressing these ghost acupoints with golden needles can restore Yang to the dying person. This has always been a secret not passed down by doctors in ancient times. Even if it is passed down to the present, its essence has been lost. I didn't expect that this gentleman could make this unique skill appear again. After listening to the explanation of the old man in tang suit, everyone's eyes changed again when they looked at Yang Lin. Being able to pull a dying person back with a few golden needles, what kind of magical method is this? And this is such a fairy who can cure diseases and save people with a few golden needles, but he also has the unique murderous skill of hurting people with flying rocks. Just when everyone thought President Zheng had been rescued, Yang Lin had no intention of stopping. Seeing Yang Lin reaching out to President Zheng again, everyone suddenly had an idea. He doesn't want to cure people all at once. No matter how you look at it, this is a bit unrealistic. After all, President Zheng suffered a gunshot wound. However, Yang Lin's next move made everyone open their mouths unconsciously. Following their gazes, Yang Lin suddenly stabbed Chairman Zheng between the eyebrows with his sword finger. There was no movement of his fingers, and all the exposed golden needles began to vibrate at a very high frequency. In the next second, all the golden needles were submerged within an inch. At the same time, something was slowly emerging from the wound on President Zheng's chest. After most of the thing surfaced, Yang Lin quickly picked it out with 2 fingers and threw it on the floor tiles aside. In an instant, a crisp sound of metal collision sounded in the silent exhibition hall. When everyone followed the sound of the impact, they discovered that what Yang Lin had just thrown out was actually a blood-stained warhead. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 62. As the warhead hit the ground, a crisp sound of metal impact also sounded in the exhibition hall. The original silence was also broken, and the bullet that landed seemed to have some kind of magic power that attracted everyone's attention. Until the warhead was picked up from the ground by a hand. This is the warhead of a 39mm rifle bullet. Hearing this sound, everyone realized that the person who picked up the bullet was the middle-aged policeman who had led the team earlier. He first looked at the bloody bullet in his hand, and then looked at President Zheng lying on the ground, with a serious look on his face. After a while, he let out a long sigh. Lao Ma was also taken away by this kind of bullet. If he could have met a strange person like Daozang Yang, he wouldn't have died in his 20s. As soon as he finished speaking, President Zheng, who was lying on the ground on the other side, sat up from the ground as if he was having a flashback. While gasping for air, he didn't forget to touch his chest. And his actions immediately caused everyone to explode. President Zheng, are you feeling better? Oh my God, I was actually saved. This is amazing, isn't it? After losing so much blood, and being hit by a rifle bullet head-on in a vital organ, it's just like a few injections and it's alright. Even if someone with such an injury is sent to a top tertiary hospital, he may not be able to walk off the operating table. Is acupuncture really that powerful? Is there a possibility that it's not acupuncture that's stronger, but that little Taoist priest? You can save him in this way. What's the difference between this and resuscitating a dead person? It's unscientific. He has lost so much blood and his important organs have been damaged. Even if he is saved, he will not be alive and well immediately. How did he learn so many weird things and where did he learn them? I want to learn them too. The exhibition hall became very lively for a while, and just when everyone looked at the resurrected Chairman Zheng in shock, President Zheng finally realized something, and quickly looked at Yang Lin with gratitude and said, "Thank you so much, Taoist priest. I felt like I was dead just now. The grace of saving my life will never be forgotten." Before he could say more words of thanks, Yang Lin raised his hand and interrupted him. "Don't worry about thanking me yet. Although you were rescued by me, you haven't been completely revived yet. Your lungs have been punctured by the bullet, and coupled with the massive arterial bleeding, under normal circumstances, you should be dead by now. But I used a golden needle to temporarily protect your heart. You won't die within 3 hours. Once 3 hours pass, you will definitely die." As soon as these words came out, not only President Zheng was dumbfounded, but everyone present didn't know what to say. Still bringing someone like this? Does he really mean 3 hours when he says 3 hours? Then isn't he the living king of hell? Yes, so the 13 needles of the Ghost Gate are also called the divine needles of the king of hell. The king of hell wants you to die at the 3rd watch, but he can keep you until the 5th watch. I thought he was saved, but it doesn't seem to be easy. You guys are stupid. With these 3 hours, couldn't he be sent to the hospital for rescue? It makes sense. I would say that simple acupuncture is not that exaggerated. After all, the blood lost cannot be replaced. Basically, his life was saved for 3 hours. The most important thing is that the bullet has been taken out. If he transfuses some blood and sutures the wound, his life should not be in danger. So Yang Lin is equivalent to having rescued him. Amidst everyone's discussion, President Zheng seemed to understand, and the gratitude in his eyes became even greater. I really don't know how to repay Taoist priest's life-saving grace. How about you look at this? I still have a few collections that I brought to the war today. Although it's not a treasure, it can still be worth a lot of money. As he spoke, he said a few words to the assistant on the side. The assistant also quickly took out a few items from several booths that had not been smashed open. A barefooted golden toad the size of a human head. An exquisite and clear jade ruyi. There is also a calligraphy and painting of unknown age. Even a layman would know when seeing these things that they must be worth a lot of money, otherwise President Zheng would not have specially made a glass cover to protect these things. When these things were placed in front of Yang Lin, the collectors around him all widened their eyes. Drink. President Zheng is really grand this time. The golden toad is his favorite object. He puts it out every time and doesn't let us touch it. Isn't his most precious thing the Ming Dynasty copy of Kuai Shi Qingtai? Last time someone offered him 5 million to buy it, but he was not willing to sell it. I'm afraid these 3 treasures together can be sold for more than 10 million. It seems that Lao Zheng is really grateful to me this time. Of course I'm sincere. I was almost dead but I was dragged back by force. How can I not be grateful? Under the sighing eyes of all the collectors, the 3 collections were delivered to Yang Lin on a tray by Chairman Zheng's assistant. However, Yang Lin didn't even take a glance at these 3 things. Instead, his eyes were fixed on the purple robe on the other side. The next second he spoke directly. "What's that Taoist robe over there?" After hearing Yang Lin's words, President Zheng, who had already sat on the stool, followed Yang Lin's gaze and glanced at him. Taoist master, have you taken a fancy to that Taoist robe? I also collected that Taoist robe from the public. It is said to have been worn by Emperor Jiajing of the Ming dynasty, but I think it is most likely an imitation from later generations and not worth much. If you like it, Taoist priest, I will give it to you as well. After President Zheng explained, Yang Lin suddenly felt a sense of enlightenment, and at the same time there was a hint of joy in his eyes. No wonder I can feel such a heavy dragon energy on this Taoist robe. It turned out to be worn by the Taoist emperor. It's both a dragon robe and a Taoist robe. With a little practice, wouldn't it be a life-protecting magic weapon that increases luck? After realizing this, he immediately put away his joy and turned to Chairman Zheng and said, "Since you sincerely want to express your gratitude, I don't want these three things. I just want that robe." As soon as Yang Lin said this, President Zheng was the first to freeze. Then the people from the collection association also looked in disbelief. It seems that he can't figure out why Yang Lin didn't want those three previous collections, but chose the least valuable Taoist robe. Although they didn't say anything, the fans in the live broadcast room were completely uneasy. This brother is really not short of money. Those three items are worth a fortune at a glance, and he doesn't want them. Yes, what's so good about a broken Taoist robe? If he really wants it, it can be customized on a certain treasure. The machine embroidery is better than the embroidery on this one. And this is a purple robe, so it shouldn't be worn casually. I don't know what he thinks. Anyway, if it were me, I would definitely want that golden rikma. Just when everyone expressed their confusion, Yang Lin's next words made them even more confused. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 63. After Yang Lin proposed that he only wanted the Taoist robe, everyone was already very confused. But at this moment Yang Lin spoke again. Originally, if I had collected those three things from you, the kindness of saving your life would be completely offset. But now that I have accepted this robe from you, I still owe you something. How about this? I'll give you something else to make up for it. As soon as he finished saying this, everyone looked at him in disbelief. What does Yang Lin mean by this? Does he mean that this Taoist robe is more precious than those three things combined? Is he crazy? This rag is so good that he still needs change. God is looking for money. Yang Lin is really a fastidious person. He is not willing to take advantage of others. Then again, he's going to make up for it with something. It's just that it's hard to define this kind of thing. Just when everyone expressed their confusion, President Zheng also looked confused. No need, Taoist priest. You saved my life. This is such a great kindness. I should give you anything. If you like this robe, just take it. But as soon as he finished speaking, Yang Lin shook his head. 1 yard after another, that Taoist robe is indeed of great significance to the poor Taoist. As he spoke, he pinched his fingers and did some calculations. If nothing else happens, the ambulance will arrive in 10 minutes. President Zheng once said before that it seems that your grandma is about to celebrate her birthday, right? In that case, Pandeo has an idea. After speaking, Yang Lin didn't explain too much, turned around and left the exhibition hall. When he came back again, he already had pens, ink, paper and inkstones in his hands, which were obviously taken from the conference hall next door. Seeing him suddenly bring in pen, ink, paper and inkstone, everyone became more and more puzzled. What are Yang Lin planning to do? Painting. What are we going to draw this time? Is this painting the one he used to settle the score? Let's take a look first and then talk. Just when everyone's curiosity was aroused, Yang Lin had already begun to prepare for painting. As if he had already sketched it out countless times in his mind, the brush in his hand landed directly on the drawing paper. Then there was a burst of pen movement. The small brush seemed to come to life in his hand. A few minutes later, the image of an elderly man with a big bump on his forehead appeared in front of everyone. The old man holds Xiaodao in one hand and a walking stick with a dragon head hanging on a gourd in the other. Under him is a fairy deer. The fairy deer still holds mushrooms in its mouth, and combined with the auspicious clouds around it, it gives people an indescribable meaning. After the painting was completed, Yang Lin casually wrote a few words on the side, "Antarctic Immortals Birthday Celebration Picture." When he finished writing the last stroke, he put the pen aside and took a dig inside his sleeve. The next second a small wooden seal appeared in his hand. Under the watchful eyes of hundreds of people present, he gently put his seal on the lower right corner of the scroll. And at the moment when the seal was stamped, an undetectable light flashed across the painting. When everyone reacted, the light disappeared immediately. What's going on? Did that painting just glow? It's an illusion. How can the painting glow? Then maybe I saw it wrong. All right, President Zheng, this picture of the Antarctic immortal celebrating his birthday can be regarded as the compensation given to you by Pandeo. You must put it away. Gently drying the ink on the scroll, Yang Lin handed the painting to his assistant in front of Chairman Zheng. Until this moment, President Zheng still looked stupid, obviously shocked by Yang Lin's painting process just now. From the time Yang Lin started painting, it took less than 10 minutes before and after the scroll was put in place and stamped with his private seal. It's okay to finish a painting so quickly, the key is to still paint it so well. He has been in the collection industry for many years and has appreciated paintings by countless celebrities. No matter in terms of technique or charm, none of them can surpass Yang Lin's painting. Especially in terms of charm, the old Antarctic man in the painting and the fairy deer under him seemed to have come alive. Just taking one look at it made me feel much better. If such a painting can be hung on the wall and admired from time to time, how can it not last long? He could already imagine how happy his 90-year-old mother would be after seeing this painting. Its collection value has far exceeded the previous common objects. And President Zheng is obviously not the only one who realizes this. There are many collectors present, just like the old man in tang suit from before. After admiring Yang Lin's paintings, his eyes were full of envy. Old Zheng, you are really a blessing in disguise this time. If you can give this painting to me, what if I help you get shot? It seems that I will inevitably run to your house from now on. As he spoke, the old man turned his attention to Yang Lin. Taoist priest, old man Chu Chun Song, this is my business card. If you have time, I hope Taoist priest can come and sit down. With that said, he handed Yang Lin one of his business cards. Seeing this, other collectors present also followed suit. Not long after, a large stack of business cards appeared in Yang Lin's hand. And the titles of these people are without exception the senior executives or managers of a certain collection company and a certain auction house. Considering that he might go shopping for some useful things in the future, Yang Lin casually put all these business cards into his sleeves. Just when everyone was still trying to start a relationship with Yang Lin, a group of medical staff rushed in carrying a stretcher. Seeing these medical staff, everyone present subconsciously glanced at the time, which happened to be the 10 minutes Yang Lin had mentioned before. While everyone was in a daze, a doctor asked eagerly, "Where are the patients? Where are the patients who were shot?" After hearing his words, everyone reacted and quickly looked at President Zheng, who was resting on the chair. At this moment, President Zheng stood up on his own initiative and walked to the doctor. "Doctor, it's me, I was shot." Hearing President Zheng's words, the doctor was obviously stunned for a moment. "Where were you shot, arm or arm?" "It's the chest, here." Under the shocked gaze of the doctor, President Zheng pointed to the big hole in his chest that almost penetrated his body. this. Seeing the big hole in President Zheng's chest, both the doctor and the nurses who followed were dumbfounded. It seemed hard to believe that the rosy-faced person in front of him who could walk and talk was a seriously ill patient who had been shot in the chest. Perhaps seeing them in a daze, President Zheng quickly urged. "Don't be stunned. The Taoist priest said that I will die in 3 hours. Please send me to rescue immediately." After hearing his words, the doctor finally reacted. "Immediately, prepare to have the nurses carry President Zheng onto a stretcher." But Chairman Zheng did not agree. "Forget it, don't use the stretcher. I'll go by myself. The stretcher is too stained." After saying that, he strode out of the exhibition hall, leaving others stunned. At this moment, everyone was once again shocked by Yang Lin's medical skills. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 64. Seeing President Zheng walking into the ambulance with a big hole in his chest, the matter came to an end. The entertainment media reporters who had come to attend the press conference couldn't help but look at each other at this moment. It was originally agreed that they were here to collect big melons about the special relationship between Yang Lin and Boss Yang. Well, now, this big melon that caused a sensation in the entire entertainment industry is gone, replaced by a first-person armed robbery case. Brother Zhang, what should I write about today's news? Just write what Yang Lin said before. It's better to add more fuel and make the matter bigger, the better. In the crowd, an intern reporter looked at Yang Lin, who was standing with his hands behind his back, and asked with some uncertainty. After hearing what the trainee reporter said, the older reporter he called Brother John quickly covered his mouth. "Are you crazy? You're adding fuel to the fire. Let's end the matter between Yang Lin and Boss Yang." "But how could such an exciting thing just disappear? As long as we process it a little bit, won't the traffic come?" the trainee reporter asked with some confusion. "You're stupid, aren't you? Even if they really have a special relationship, do you still dare to write about it? Yang Lin has already caught bullets with his bare hands. If you keep writing randomly, people will find you one day and give you a stone. Listen to me. Change today's headline to the robbery case, and then highlight Yang Lin's process of rescuing people and treating illnesses. I will praise him to death." Huh? But we are entertainment news. It's not good for us to report this kind of content. What's wrong? Isn't Yang Lin from the entertainment industry? Also, please remove the black material about Yang Lin from the morning. In fact, not only their family, but other entertainment media present also chose to forget the previous events. Instead of mentioning the incident where Boss Yang and the other three came to Yang Lin's room late at night, we will instead focus more on the robbery that just happened in the morning. From Yang Lin catching bullets with his bare hands, to Yang Lin easily subduing 8 gunmen, to Yang Lin using his miraculous medical skills to rescue the dying President Zheng from hell. Everything is detailed, with pictures and texts. Less than half an hour after the incident ended, it had already appeared on the front pages of major entertainment media. Related videos have gone viral on short video platforms such as Douyin, knocking out the headlines from last night. As for the aggrieved fans of the three goddesses before, they also have collective amnesia at this moment, and some of them have even become Yang Lin's fans. Just when the trend on the internet turned 180 degrees, Yang Lin in the hotel also returned to the room accompanied by the staff. "Teacher Yang, you were really awesome just now. Yeah, I didn't expect you to know acupuncture. You didn't see those reporters. When you came back just now, no one dared to stand in front of you. I guess they won't dare to write anything about you in the future. By the way, Teacher Yang, when will our filming start today?" Hearing this question, Yang Lin in the elevator suddenly counted on his fingers. Then he replied, "Let's go in the afternoon. My fortune will come to my door in the afternoon. We just have to wait in the hotel." As soon as he finished speaking, the elevator door opened and Yang Lin walked out of the elevator first. But when he came to the door of his room, he saw three familiar figures. It was Boss Yang, Reba, and Lu Tianxian. Huh? Why are you here? Of course I'm waiting for you, Reba put her hands on her waist and said angrily. Why are you waiting for me? Aren't you afraid of being secretly photographed by those reporters again? Hey, don't be afraid this time. They probably won't dare to come up in the future. Reba, who was pretending to be angry just a second ago, suddenly laughed. We are here to seek compensation from you this time. Suddenly hearing Reba's words, Yang Lin couldn't help but reveal a hint of curiosity on his face. Why should I compensate you? It's not because of what you said before. This time it was Boss Yang who spoke. Which sentence? That's the sentence that says there is no difference between us and ordinary people. Lu Tianxian helped. Hearing this, Yang Lin also suddenly realized. I'm sorry, I said it casually. Actually, what I want to say is that in the eyes of us monks, everyone in the world is just a pink skeleton with white bones and flesh. Are you monks all X-ray machines? After hearing Yang Lin's words, Reba couldn't help but stick out her tongue. That's right, you are only in your early 20s, but sometimes it feels like you have lived for more than 100 years. No, you changed the subject. We still have to compensate. For example, the lamb you gave away before is good. At this moment, the three of them finally revealed their foxtails. And Yang Lin didn't feel the slightest surprise. Looking at the three people with eager faces, he finally smiled. Okay, but there will be no lamb this time. The lamb doesn't match your horoscopes. You guys wait for me a moment. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Lin turned around, opened the door and walked in. When he came out again, there were already three more thumb-sized animal wood carvings in his hand. They are a little fox, a crane, and a little pig. Under the gazes of Boss Yang and the three of them, he placed the three small wooden carvings into their palms one after another. Boss Yang and Lu Tianxian immediately beamed after receiving the wood carvings presented by Yang Lin. Only Reba looked at the wooden piglet in her hand with some indignation. Why is mine a pig? Before Yang Lin could explain, Boss Yang poked her forehead and said. You don't understand this. Pigs are supposed to be the most blessed. It's not a good idea to give you a little pig to ensure that you don't have to worry about food and drink in the future. Is that so? Reba glanced at Yang Lin with a puzzled look. Only when Yang Lin nodded did she solemnly put the pig away with joy. At the same time, she also took out a thermal bag from behind. Breakfast time in the restaurant below is over. We got this for you. You go and eat quickly. We have to go to the stall. After saying that, she put the thermal bag directly in Yang Lin's hand, then pulled Boss Yang and the two of them out of here quickly. Looking at the three people leaving, the corners of Yang Lin's mouth curled up slightly. The next second he turned around and walked into the room. After finishing breakfast, he took out the purple robe he had obtained earlier. Looking at the immortal birds and beasts on the purple robe, the mountains, rivers, sun, and moon, and the condensed noble aura, he immediately used peach charms to create a mysterious formation on the floor. Then he threw the Taoist robe into it. As he gently recited the incantation, a subtle and mysterious change appeared on the Taoist robe. After an hour, the Taoist robe once worn by the emperor turned into an ordinary blue Taoist robe. All the many fairy birds and beasts from before were turned into a red-crowned white crane and hidden in the corner of his clothes. And the luxurious dragon energy that hid his face turned into a slightly ethereal fairy spirit. Yang Lin gently threw the Taoist robe into the air, and the Taoist robe was automatically put on his body as if it came to life. Coupled with his earthly temperament, he is completely like a little god playing in the world. After looking in front of the full-length mirror, he seemed to think of something again. As soon as he raised his hand, a sword connected by a strap was carried on his back. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 65. While Yang Lin was admiring his new appearance, Reba and the other two came to their stalls respectively. Just like the previous few days, the three of them opened the stall as usual and waited for customers to come. I thought there would be little business in the morning, but not long after their stall opened, a large number of customers began to come. The payment sound on the mobile phone never stops. Especially for Reba, she usually only sells scattered small orders, but today her stall seems to have some kind of magic, and she has big orders as soon as she opens. So much so that the entire day's supply she had prepared was sold out in just half an hour. And when this scene fell into the eyes of fans in her live broadcast room, these fans were all dumbfounded. What's going on? Did any of you organize fans to become actors at Reba's booth today? Who is so stupid? This is against the rules of the show. If the show finds out, Reba's reputation will be ruined by you. Yes, you are not helping her, you are harming her. No, no one in our group said they were going to visit the class today. It's impossible for anyone to act privately. Maybe they are not fans of Reba. I think those people seem to be really choosing things carefully. If you are not a fan, then why are these people so crazy? Yeah, I just did some statistics. Reba sold 5,000 yuan worth of things just now. Putting aside the principal, she made at least 3,000 yuan in just that moment. What is going on here? Is this her fortune? I'm definitely not a fan. Boss Yang's stall next door is also selling like crazy. He makes as much money as Reba. I just came from her place. Lu Tianxian is the same, he has a lot of sales. So it's definitely not the fans who did it? Did they really get transferred? All the fans from the three families were stunned for a moment. But soon some fans who looked at variety shows with a microscope saw a clue. Jai mice, haven't you noticed that Boss Yang and Reba have an extra thing on their necks today? Is that a red rope? Or the same red rope? Yes, that's right, it wasn't there yesterday, but it is today. I remember that Lu Tianxian rarely wears jewelry. I have never even seen her wearing a necklace. So this red string. There are only two truths. This red rope and the things hanging below were either bought together by them last night, or given to them by the same person. Zhe. I remembered, didn't Yang Lin give that rich woman a similar lamp pendant? The one that helped her earn more than 1 billion yuan. If that's the case, it makes sense. No wonder the three of them are so lucky today. Yang Lin must have given them the magic weapon. Damn. I'm so jealous that my cock turns purple. I want one too. If the rich woman last time was just a coincidence, then this time it is really true. The things Yang Lin sent can really be transferred. This is not a pendant. This is clearly a cheating device. With this cheating device, the others will be in misery. Where's the program team? Come out quickly. This is unfair to our Huahua family. Yes, I strongly request Yang Lin to give our pigeon a pigeon. Our pigeon works so hard that it is almost eating dirt. As more and more fans discovered this, the matter became a hot topic. The program team was also very helpless after learning about this incident. What can they do? They can't just say that they won't let Boss Yang and the others take the pendants given by Yang Lin. They also did not say that you cannot wear fortune-enhancing magic tools to change your wealth. Of course, the program team did not expect that such unreliable things would actually be useful. At the same time, Xiao Yuiyu and the other three who were borrowing the cell phones of the program staff to watch the live broadcast on the other side also looked at each other after knowing the truth. Then they all took a look at their money boxes. The next second, Xiao Yuiyu said with an emotional expression. How about the three of us also go to Yang Lin's room to look for him tonight? Maybe he will also give each of the three of us a magic weapon. As soon as he finished speaking, Huahua and Kunkin on the side rolled their eyes. Time flew by in the afternoon, and Yang Lin's group of staff were already impatient to wait. Although it is better not to start work than not to start work, but who makes Yang Lin more popular than several other celebrity artists now? How many viewers are waiting for Yang Linkai's live broadcast? But it was almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was still no movement in Yang Lin's room. Just when the staff of the program team was about to knock on the door and ask, the door opened in response. When everyone in the program crew habitually pointed their cameras at Yang Lin, they were instantly stunned. Not only were they stunned, but even the fans who rushed into the live broadcast room for the first time couldn't help but widen their eyes when they saw Yang Lin's new appearance. Although the previous Yang Lin had outstanding temperament, the inferior robe bought from a clothing store could not set it off. At this moment, Yang Lin was wearing an elegant blue Taoist robe, with his half-long hair tied up with a wooden hairpin, and a sword on his back. Just standing there was like a sword fairy coming out of a fairy tale. Generally, what's even more rare is his indescribable mysterious temperament and his eyes that seem to see through everything. It took several seconds for the members of the program team to finally react. "Teacher Yang, you look really handsome in your outfit today." "Yeah, I've never seen a male artist who suits this outfit better than you. If you were to act as an ancient puppet, those little girls would go crazy after seeing it." Tisk tisk tisk, as expected, people rely on clothes and horses rely on saddles. The most important thing is your temperament, Teacher Yang. "Teacher Yang, the way you look today, I'm afraid you will attract a lot of female fans." Amidst the burst of praise from everyone, the fans in the live broadcast room also exploded. It's over, I'm in love. I admit that I am a pretty girl. Yang Lin's temperament is simply amazing. Why don't those ancient dolls look for him? Is there a possibility that he wasn't popular before? It feels like an immortal. From now on, those immortals and gods should look for him. I would like to call him the most stunningly handsome man in ancient times. It's so strange. I feel like he is an ancient person, not like the one he plays. This can no longer be described as handsome, but should be described as immortal. At this moment, fans of Yang Lin or not were full of praise. But Yang Lin seemed extremely calm about everyone's praise. Okay, stop boasting. Pandeo's fortune has come. Come down with me." With that said, he walked straight to the elevator. When everyone in the program team followed him and took the elevator to the lobby on the first floor of the hotel, a familiar figure appeared in front of them. A closer look revealed that it was the academician of the Longguo Academy of Engineering who had met Yang Lin before on Wanjiao Mountain. As Yang Lin appeared, the old academician also walked toward him with excitement. "Taoist priest, I finally found you. I asked a few friends to find out that you live here. Old man, I encountered a problem today, and I would like to ask the Taoist priest to find out where the problem lies." After saying that, he took out a drawing. "You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes." Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 66. Seeing the old man appear, Yang Lin was not surprised at all, but a look of surprise flashed in the eyes of several members of the program crew who were following him. "Teacher Yang has counted again. If I had his ability, I would buy lottery tickets and speculate in the stock market." "You're right. If Teacher Yang were to speculate in stocks or buy lottery tickets, wouldn't he make more money than he does now?" While several people in the program team were discussing in low voices, Yang Lin also took the drawing from the old academician's hand. After just one glance, he smiled and said, "Old sir, this is a large shopping mall." "Yes, this is indeed a large shopping mall. It was commissioned by Jinghai Jinlun Trading Company to design it. It was completed years ago, but now various problems are emerging. They suspect that there is something wrong with our design drawings. The old academician nodded. A few old friends and I have been studying for a few days, but we still can't find out where the problem lies. That's when I thought of you, Taoist priest. Master Taoist, do you see where the problem is? Hearing this question from the old academician, Yang Lin nodded first, and then shook his head. I saw a few things, but they were not big problems, so I think the problem still lies in the mall itself. Why don't you, old gentleman, take me to that shopping mall to have a look? Okay, Taoist priest, please come this way. While the two were talking, the old academician led Yang Lin out of the hotel. Upon seeing this, everyone in the program team quickly followed suit. By the time they left the hotel, Yang Lin had already been invited into a luxury business car. More than 10 minutes later, the commercial vehicle stopped in a busy area. Before Yang Linren got out of the car, a very large commercial building with an area as large as more than 10 football fields appeared in his field of vision. At the same time, those who noticed the scene were the camera crew that followed and the audience in the live broadcast room. Let me go, such a big shopping mall deserves to be a developed coastal city. How much does it cost for such a large area? Locals are here. I know this shopping mall. It seems to be called Cloud Era. It is said that the total construction area exceeds 800,000 square meters. It has 9 floors above and 4 floors below. It took a total of 6 years to build and cost more than 20 billion yuan. Yes, it's right next to my university. It was built when I was in college. It's been 2 years since I graduated from college and it hasn't opened yet. It looks very high-end and grand, but why is it not open yet after it has been renovated? Anyway, I heard that this shopping mall is very evil. It seems that a cave was dug when the foundation was being laid. Thousands of trucks of concrete were filled in, but it was not filled. Our school is next to it. During the few years when this mall was built, there were 7 or 8 dances every year. This didn't happen before the mall started to be built. It's so evil. There is really a design problem, just like the building last time. While the audience in the live broadcast room was talking a lot, Yang Lin's eyes had already scanned the entire mall. Finally, he looked at the old academician beside him. Mr. Su, there is nothing wrong with your design. It is a model in terms of aesthetics, structure, and feng shui. Hearing his words, the old academician frowned even more. At this moment, another black business car drove over from not far away and stopped in front of Yang Lin and the others. As the car door opened, a middle-aged man in a suit and leather shoes walked over with another bald old man with a gloomy face. When he first saw Yang Lin and the others, the middle-aged man in a suit couldn't help but have a look of doubt on his face. "Dad, why are you here? Didn't I say that I would solve this matter? You're so old, stop running around outside." As he spoke, the middle-aged man in a suit led the bald old man to Academician Su. Then the introduction started. "Master Long, this is my father. Dad, this is Master Long that I invited from Xiangjiang. He once participated in the construction and design of the Huifeng Bank building in Xiangjiang. I even asked his opinion before the construction of the Cross-Sea Bridge." After he introduced the bald old man to Academician Su, he immediately looked at Yang Lin aside. After carefully looking at Yang Lin's attire, he couldn't help but wonder. "Father, who is this?" Hearing the problem of the middle-aged man in a suit, Academician Su quickly prepared to introduce Yang Lin. But after thinking for a long time, he suddenly stopped. Just when he looked embarrassed, Yang Lin said directly, "My surname is Yang, just an ordinary person." "Yes, Master Yang, he was the one I invited to help." "Help? How can he help?" the middle-aged man in a suit said with a sinister expression. But he didn't seem to want to worry about it now. He quickly turned to the middle-aged man beside him with a respectful expression and said, "Master Long, this building has had various problems since the beginning of its construction. Now Jinlun Group insists that there is a problem with our design. If we can't resolve it, the compensation alone will bankrupt us. Before he could finish his words, the bald old man reached out and interrupted him. Mr. Su, you don't need to say anything, I have already seen the problem. If you want to crack it, I still need to prepare for a few more days. I will ask Mr. Su to find a hotel for me to stay in these days. As soon as he heard the old man's words, the middle-aged man in suit immediately felt as if he had found a savior, and he kept saying yes. But at this moment, Yang Lin on the side accidentally laughed out loud. Hearing his laughter, everyone present immediately looked at him. The bald old man was even more unhappy. The middle-aged man in a suit directly chose to attack. Why are you laughing? Upon hearing the question from the middle-aged man in a suit, Yang Lin smiled and shook his head. I laugh that you are about to be deceived. Am I being deceived? Suchan, who has been in the business world for so many years, will be deceived. The middle-aged man in a suit immediately laughed angrily at Yang Lin's words. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Lin pointed directly at the bald old man and said, "He's the liar who lied to you." As soon as these words came out, everyone present, including the bald old man, was stunned. Even Academician Su said with a confused look, "Taoist priest, are you mistaken? You have just met this master, how can you conclude that he is a liar? Yes, you are just talking nonsense. Master Long is very famous in Xiangjiang. We hired him before we started construction of the tallest building in Jinghai." But as soon as Suchan, a middle-aged man in a suit, said these words, Yang Lin smiled even more happily. "It turns out it's you. No wonder. You should know Mr. Zhou from the construction engineering group." As soon as Yang Lin said these words, the bald old man's expression suddenly changed. Even everyone in the live broadcast room seemed to have thought of something. "I originally thought that you didn't anticipate what happened last time. Now it seems that you must have anticipated it and deliberately left such a loophole. It's for the subsequent second charge. I'm right, Master Long." While several people at the scene were still confused, the audience in the live broadcast room suddenly realized. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 67. I'll go and tell you why Yang Lin insists that the bald man is a liar. It turns out we are an old acquaintance. I understood when he said this. He deliberately left loopholes for others. If there is a problem later, he will definitely be found again and the money will be collected again. It's true that enemies are on a narrow road. The bug he left last time was fixed by Yang Lin. This feud has been settled. I didn't expect that I would bump into his hands again this time. But didn't Yang Lin just say that there is no problem with the feng shui of this shopping mall? I don't understand. Let's see how it develops next. While the audience in the live broadcast room was talking a lot, the bald old man also said with an angry expression, "I don't understand what you, a young man, are saying. You don't understand, do you? Just tell me straight away. You don't know that there are loopholes in the feng shui of the building built by the construction engineering group. You deliberately left such a big loophole. If Pandeo hadn't taken action, something big would have happened." As soon as Yang Lin said these words, the bald old man immediately stared at him angrily. "It turns out you broke my trap, and I was about to go find you. I have no grievances with you. Don't you understand the rules in the industry?" When he heard the bald old man's question, Yang Lin showed an indifferent expression. "Pandeo is just a monk, we are not traveling with you. Pandeo only knows that you are harming others. You." At this moment, the Su family father and son on the side were already confused and had no idea what Yang Lin and the two were talking about. After a while, Academician Su finally understood something. "Taoist priest, when this shopping mall was built, we didn't invite Master Long to come and take a look. I also know a little bit about Feng Shui. Before Academician Su could finish his words, Yang Lin said with a serious face. So, I'm afraid that you, old man, blocked his way to make money in the first place, so he deliberately harmed you. When the construction started, he probably did a lot of tricks. Old Academician, have you ever heard of the art of nightmare suppression? As these four words came out of Yang Lin's mouth, the expressions of everyone present changed, especially the bald old man, who looked at Yang Lin with eyes full of fear and fear. However, most netizens in the live broadcast room were a little confused. Can someone come out and explain what the Nightmare Town technique is? Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good thing. I know a little about this. I heard that carpenters or bricklayers in the past would do this. During construction, they would hide some tools or other animal bones in the beams or walls to harm the homeowner. Yes, it is recorded in the Luban book, and it is one of the top 10 evil arts. If what Yang Lin said is true, then this master is really nothing. He harms people first and then saves them. He lacks great virtue. I'm really impressed. It's obviously a celebrity variety show, but why do I learn all these weird things every day? The strange knowledge has increased again. When things developed to this point, the way the Su family father and son looked at the bald old man also changed. They were also related to the construction industry, so they had naturally heard of the Nightmare Town technique, but they didn't expect that one day they would use this evil technique against themselves. But the bald old man seemed to want to struggle again. He is talking nonsense. Why does he conclude that I used the nightmare suppression technique? He is slandering me. But as soon as he finished speaking, Yang Lin dialed a number. Hello, I'm in the Cloud Times Mall now. I found several bones here, and the suspect is still there. Send someone over quickly. After saying that, he hung up the phone. But his operation completely confused the Su family and his son. Taoist priest, it's illegal to report false police reports. When did we find the bones? But while the two were talking, the bald old man was trying to run away. Before he could even take 2 steps, a small stone hit him in the hollow of his knee. The next second he threw a dog on the spot and broke several of his front teeth. When everyone still couldn't figure out what happened, Yang Lin said to the program team hiding aside. Find a rope and tie this man up. He is the suspect that Pandeo just mentioned. Ah! As soon as Yang Lin said these words, the Su family, his father and son, and the staff of the program team all looked in disbelief. A second ago, Yang Lin said that the bald master was a liar, but why did he become a suspect in the murder case? The transition was too fast. More importantly, the bones mentioned by Yang Lin have not been revealed so far, and no one knows whether they are true or false. Out of trust in Yang Lin, the program staff finally found a rope and tied up the bald master. What followed was a long wait. While waiting, the Su family and his son also looked very anxious. After all, they didn't dare to guarantee that what Yang Lin just said was right. It wasn't until more than 10 minutes later that 3 police cars roared over. Who of you just called the police? Where is the body? After the police car stopped, a young police car got out of the police car with a serious face. After looking around the scene, he asked. Pandeo just called the police. As for the body, it hasn't been dug out yet. Faced with the police's questioning, Yang Lin did not panic at all. But his words caused dissatisfaction among the young police officers. Didn't you just say on the phone that the bones have been found? You will be held responsible for reporting false alarms. As soon as the young policeman finished speaking, Yang Lin pointed to a flower bed not far in front of him. It was indeed discovered, but I haven't had time to dig it out yet. If I'm not mistaken, there is one there. Then there's one over there, too. There should be one inside the pillar over there. There is also, under the underground parking lot inside. Seeing Yang Lin pointing to more than 10 locations in just 10 seconds, Not only the audience in the live broadcast room were dumbfounded, but also the police. If what Yang Lin said is true, then this is no ordinary small case. What they didn't notice was that every time Yang Lin pointed out a location, the look of fear on the bald old man's face became more intense. After Yang Lin pointed out more than 10 points in a row, his face was already ashen. Perhaps in order to verify whether what Yang Lin said was true, after several policemen looked at each other, they immediately found tools and searched for the location of the flower bed. After digging a hole more than half a meter deep, a colorful woven bag that had mostly rotted appeared in everyone's sight. The moment this colorful woven bag and the faint bones inside appeared, everyone's eyes changed when they looked at Yang Lin. They never expected that what Yang Lin said was true. During the subsequent excavation process, other locations were also verified. Seeing the more than 10 bones carried out by the police, the fans and viewers in the live broadcast room couldn't hold back on the spot. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 68. As more than a dozen bones were dug out from different corners of the mall, the netizens in the live broadcast room who had watched the whole process instantly exploded. Let me go, what's going on? I agreed that I was just here to help look at the design issues. Why is it involved in a murder case? Fortunately it's daytime. If it were night, I guess I wouldn't have to sleep. It's so exciting. Why are there so many bones here, and they are all buried in such tricky places, some inside the walls, some inside the pillars? What I'm more curious about is how Yang Lin knew where these bodies were in advance. Were these people all killed by that master? Burying a corpse in someone else's shopping mall is no ordinary nightmare-suppressing technique. You can't do such a thing without a life and death blood feud. The problem is that so much time has passed, and Yang Lin can't provide direct evidence to prove that this matter was done by the bald master. Just as netizens were talking about it, police cars drove over one after another. At the same time, curious passers-by also gathered around. In less than an hour, hundreds of people had gathered at the scene. What's going on here? How come more than a dozen corpses appeared all at once? Why are recent things happening one after another? Under the gaze of everyone, a middle-aged policeman walked into the blockade with a group of forensic doctors in white coats. When the middle-aged policeman saw Yang Lin, he was stunned for a moment. Daozang Yang, you are here too. Hearing this familiar voice, Yang Lin realized that the person speaking was Captain Qin, whom he had just met in the morning. The young policeman who was questioning Yang Lin also showed a trace of doubt at this time. Master, do you know this Taoist priest? Of course I know him. This Taoist priest is a strange man. If he hadn't been there during the robbery in the morning, things would have been very serious. As he spoke, Captain Qin took the initiative to walk up to the young policeman. Tell me what's going on here. It's such a master. We rushed over immediately after receiving the alarm, and then under the guidance of the Taoist priest, we found 15 skeletal corpses. I now seriously suspect that the Taoist priest is related to this case. Otherwise, how could he know the places where the corpses are hidden so well? As soon as the young policeman finished speaking these stern words, Captain Qin smiled. If someone can accurately tell where the body is hidden, they are probably the murderer, but this Taoist priest is definitely not the one. Okay, let's change the direction of investigation and investigate the party responsible for building this shopping mall. Just when the master and apprentice were about to start investigating, Yang Lin spoke again. No need to check Captain Qin, he is the one who did it. After saying that, he looked at the bald master who was tied up beside him with a playful look. Yes, Master Long. Upon hearing his words, Captain Qin immediately looked at the bald master beside him. It seems that he doesn't understand why Yang Lin insists that this person did it. But at this time, Master Long seemed to be unable to bear the pressure and said in a panic. No, I didn't kill them, I just borrowed their bodies. I collected these corpses from various places. How could it be possible that I killed them? As soon as these words came out, all the police officers at the scene were stunned. They had never thought that solving the case would be so easy, and they couldn't help but look at Yang Lin. He is right. He did not kill these people, but he still committed the crime of insulting a corpse. If Pandeo's calculations are correct, these corpses are all unjust deaths that he collected from various places. Only in this way can the effect of his nightmare suppression technique be maximized. As soon as Yang Lin finished speaking, a forensic doctor wearing a white coat and a mask came over. Captain Chin, I have checked all the corpses. Judging from the time of death, they don't seem to have died at the same time. And several of the corpses were still wearing shrouds and had funeral parlor numbers on them. They were most likely stolen from the funeral parlor. As soon as the forensic doctor said these words, the faces of everyone present instantly showed a look of astonishment. This means that what Yang Lin just said is right. Master Long didn't kill these people, he just stole their bodies. Amazing, the young policeman looked at Yang Lin in disbelief. By the way, I remembered that almost 4 years ago, the city funeral home seemed to have reported that several corpses were missing. But we didn't find out who did it at that time, an old policeman who came with Captain Chin suddenly said in realization. That's it, we can solve 2 cases in 1 second. Sun Wangzhuang also reported a case a few years ago, saying that the body of a drowned little girl was stolen just after she was buried. At that time, I thought she was dragged into a secret marriage. It seems that this person did it. All of a sudden, all the police officers at the scene started talking. The fans in the live broadcast room could not type anything else except the word awesome. As for the Su family's father and son, they wished they could go up and kick Master Long's feet. Damn it, just because I didn't let you make any money, are you cheating people like this? If Taoist Yang hadn't been here today, our Su family would have suffered a lot from you. As a Feng Shui master, aren't you afraid of being punished by God if you do this? Perhaps being aroused by the words of the Su family father and son, Master Long immediately sneered. God's punishment? Ever since I started this business, I have been subjected to God's punishment all the time. So I'm not afraid anymore, I'm just afraid of not having money. And even if I'm caught this time, I'll only be charged with insulting a corpse. I'll be out in less than 2 years. Before he could finish speaking, Yang Lin on the side shook his head helplessly. It's so pitiful that you don't know that a disaster is coming. A disaster is coming. Upon hearing these 4 words, Master Long immediately burst into laughter. He didn't take Yang Lin's words to heart at all until Yang Lin's next words. You have used the nightmare suppression technique indiscriminately, and your moral virtue has been completely lost. In addition, coupled with the backlash after breaking the technique, I am afraid that you will not end well, and there will be disaster within 3 days. As soon as these words came out, Master Long's expression immediately changed. However, he still said stubbornly. What do you, a little Taoist priest, know? I have already asked the eminent monks of Dalan Temple to approve my life. I can live to the age of 90 without any disease or disaster. Can your mouth be better than that of the eminent monk of Dalan Temple? But as soon as he finished speaking, a breeze suddenly blew by. The next second, a palm-sized tile fell straight down from the upper floor of the mall. It hit Master Long squarely in the head. In his disbelief, he died on the spot. As Master Long slowly fell into a pool of blood, the air at the scene solidified instantly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 69. What happened was too sudden. In just one sentence, Master Long, who was alive and kicking 1 second, was crushed to death by an inconspicuous tile the next. The overall height of the shopping mall is not that high. If it hits the target just a little bit, people will not die immediately. But by accident, it hit the most vulnerable fontanelle in the middle of the head, and there was no time for rescue. After being stunned, everyone couldn't help but think of what Yang Lin said just now. Netizens in the live broadcast room became excited on the spot. "I'm sorry, he just said that this master will be in trouble within 3 days. If 3 minutes don't pass, he will be dead. This is probably the biggest error Yang Lin has ever made. It seems that the eminent monk from Dalan Temple is not very good. He even said that he can live to be 90 years old. Is it possible that, just like what Yang Lin said, he did too many immoral things, so his lifespan was shortened? To brag, I worked until I was 60 when I was 90. Kill Yang Xiao. What's the matter with feeling like the god of death is coming? Yang Lin's mouth is as if it has been opened. Are you sure he wasn't cursed to death by Yang Lin? The cycle of cause and effect. He tampered with things here and affected the fortune here. Today he was crushed to death here. This was taken away by God. Just when netizens were sighing, the forensic doctor at the scene immediately ran to Master Long's side to check. He quickly shook his head and said, "Already dead." After hearing the forensic doctor's final conclusion, everyone at the scene couldn't help but look at each other. At the same time, they couldn't help but look at Yang Lin with a hint of awe. They didn't know whether the eminent monks of Dalan Temple were accurate, but what Yang Lin said was true. But Captain Qin soon frowned. If he dies, we will be in trouble. With so many corpses, I don't know where they got them, let alone the identities of these bones. How can I contact their families? As soon as Captain Qin finished speaking, all the police officers present nodded in agreement. Forensic Dr. Liu, can all these bones be subjected to DNA testing? Hearing Captain Qin's question, the leading forensic doctor nodded first, and then shook his head. DNA testing can certainly be done, but without samples for comparison, there is no way to know their exact identities. That's true, but it will be difficult to deal with now, Captain Qin said with a frown while touching his chin. Why don't we invite skull identification experts from the imperial capital to come over and use their skulls to reconstruct their faces? But as soon as he finished speaking, Yang Lin's voice suddenly sounded from the side. I may have a solution to this problem. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone's eyes were drawn to Yang Lin again. Teacher Yang, this is no joke. Yeah, just leave this professional matter to the police. Several people from the program team saw this and hurriedly persuaded him. The audience in the live broadcast room also began to speculate. The bones have been severely reduced to white. How can you recognize them? We can't just do a ritual and call up all their dead souls. If Yang Lin really did this, then this show would be a supernatural show. It's not just a supernatural show. From now on, when the police officers solve the case, they can find him directly. Call the deceased up and ask him directly who the murderer is. He shouldn't be so outrageous. It's not impossible. As a Taoist priest, he can't just summon a dead soul or something. What a red chicken. I can only say that if an idol can summon spirits, he will be really hot. That's right, who can resist a psychic idol? Yang Lin is awesome. He doesn't know the skills in the entertainment industry. What he does know are these. Amid the speculations of netizens and the expectations of the police officers, Yang Lin finally revealed his solution. Pandeo once learned to touch bones, and he has done some research on the bones and skin of the human body. With just one glance, I should be able to draw a picture of what they looked like when they were alive. After hearing his answer, everyone suddenly realized. So that's it? I thought he was really going to summon the souls of the dead. I thought so too. If that's the case, it's not impossible. Many veteran forensic doctors know this, but there are certain errors. Not to mention forensic medicine, Many big names in the archaeological field know this skill. Errors are bound to occur. Although bone physiology is relatively fixed, there are too many factors that influence it. Yes, I think face appearance or skin appearance has a greater impact. For example, whether you gain weight or lose weight, it will not be reflected in your bones. If other acquired factors are taken into account, the error in skull reconstruction will be even greater. Daojang Yang, are you really sure about this? Captain Chin asked solemnly where the bones were placed. After hearing his question, Yang Lin's expression didn't change at all. We can't achieve 100% restoration, but we can achieve 80%. 8 achievements are enough. Captain Chin nodded, and immediately asked someone to bring paper and pen. After taking the pen and paper, Yang Lin walked straight towards the more than 10 skeletal corpses. As soon as he got close, he recited the incantation of death. It wasn't until he finished reading the scriptures that he looked at the bones. Just when everyone thought he would have to read for a long time, he just picked up the pen and started drawing in the notebook. In less than a minute, a young man with a straight face appeared on the white paper. The first deceased, male, was 27 years old at the time of death, 1.8 centimeters tall, with ruptured internal organs and fractured ribs. He should have died in a car accident. This body should have been stolen from the funeral home. You can contact the city funeral home to verify the information. As he spoke, Yang Lin handed the first painted portrait to Captain Chin, who was standing aside. Then he drew a second portrait. In less than a minute, a lean, middle-aged man appeared on the paper. The second deceased, male, was 63 years old and 168 centimeters tall at the time of death. He died of disease. This one should be the same as the previous one. After Team Chin got the portraits and information of the 2 deceased people, they immediately contacted the Jinghai City Funeral Home. After some confirmation and receiving the photos from the city funeral home, he was stunned on the spot. Upon seeing this, other police officers quickly compared the photos sent by the funeral home with Yang Lin's portrait. The next second, the expressions on their faces were exactly the same as Captain Chin's. Because no matter how you look at it, the portrait given by Yang Lin is exactly the same as the photo sent by the city funeral home. Not similar, but even the facial details are exactly the same. The most outrageous thing is that one of the deceased had a black mole on the tip of his nose, and Yang Lin's portrait also had a black mole in the same position. While everyone was stunned, Yang Lin quickly drew the life portraits of all the 15 corpses at the scene. The speed is staggering. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 70. The 15th deceased, male, was 36 years old and 172 centimeters tall at the time of death. The cause of death was poisoning. In the open space in front of the shopping mall, as Yang Lin drew the life portrait of the last deceased, everyone at the scene could no longer say a word. At this time, less than half an hour had passed since Yang Lin began to identify the bones. The sources of the previous 14 corpses were quickly found based on the information and portraits given by Yang Lin. Some have even begun to contact the families of the deceased to come and claim them. And just when everyone was shocked by Yang Lin's series of miraculous operations, Captain Chin, who was standing next to Yang Lin, looked at the last portrait given by Yang Lin in surprise. "Is this Ma San?" Hearing his words, his apprentice on the side quickly asked in confusion. "What's wrong, master, do you know this person?" "We know him, of course we know him. He was our key suspect in the serial murder case at the rubber shoe factory 7 years ago. At that time, the police unanimously believed that he was the murderer. Unfortunately, when we were preparing to make the final arrest, he committed suicide by taking poison at home. After his death, all the evidence chains were broken. Unexpectedly, his body was also stolen." Captain Chin frowned and said while looking at the familiar face on the white paper. However, after forensic identification, he died accidentally due to tracheal obstruction caused by food allergy. Chief Taoist, you just said that he died of poisoning. As he spoke, Captain Qin looked at Yang Lin again. At this moment, other people present were also vaguely aware that things seemed to have a new development. Yang Lin on the other side nodded without thinking after hearing Captain Qin's words. Yes, he was poisoned to death, and judging from his marital palace, it should be his wife or lover who poisoned him. As soon as Yang Lin said these words, Captain Qin suddenly felt a bright light flash in his mind. The next second he became excited. I understand, I finally understand, the murderer is not Ma San. This case can finally be solved. After saying this excitedly, Captain Qin said to the apprentice beside him with a serious face. This is left to you, you decide what to do. I still have important things to go back to the bureau. After speaking, Captain Qin was about to turn around and leave. But before leaving, he seemed to have thought of something. He quickly walked up to Yang Lin and bowed deeply to him in front of everyone. Thank you, Taoist priest, for waking up. If it weren't for you, Taoist priest, this case that has been in the dust for 7 years may never be solved in this life. When I have time, I will make a special trip to visit the Taoist master. As soon as he finished speaking, Captain Qin turned around and left the scene quickly. At this moment, everyone finally understood what happened, and everyone focused their attention on Yang Lin again. No, this is still a case within a case. Just by looking at someone's skull, you can tell how he died and who killed him. Derenja will have to kneel down to worship him when he comes. Yang Lin's skills will be wasted in the entertainment industry. It is better to join the police and become a crime killer. What you are saying is as if he has delayed solving crimes in the entertainment industry. He has solved several cases in a row today. It took him a few days to complete the half-year KPI of the Jinghai City Public Security Bureau. Awesome, really awesome. He is the idol that I admire the most and the most capable in the entertainment industry. The skills are more hardcore than the last. I've almost forgotten why Yang Lin came here. To solve the robbery case in the morning and the bone case in the afternoon. Just when the audience and fans in the live broadcast room felt like they were going crazy, a group of police officers at the scene also started finishing work. After a while, all the more than 10 bones were carried away. As the police left, Yang Lin and the Su family's father and son were soon the only ones left at the scene. However, the situation of the Su family's father and son seems to be not very good at the moment, and they almost have the word unlucky written on their faces. Come to think of it, originally they came here to see what the problem with this mall was. Although Yang Lin has successfully found out the problem now, it seems to have become more serious than before. They can almost predict that even if this mall can be successfully opened in the future, the number of people will be bleak. And this will also become a major failure in their design career. After much hesitation, academician Su finally placed his last glimmer of hope on Yang Lin. Daozang Yang, now that things have developed like this, I don't know if there is any remedy. Old man, I'm worried that no one will dare to come to this mall in the future. Hearing what academician Su said, Yang Lin shook his head indifferently. Don't worry about this. There is nothing wrong with the feng shui here. It's just that your wealth luck will be worse by then. But as soon as he finished speaking, a middle-aged oily man with a good temperament came out of the crowd. Taoist priest, I am the chairman of Jinlun Group, Li Wanbo. This market is my own initiative, and it is also a key issue for whether I can continue to serve as the next director of the board of directors. If this mall cannot make a profit quickly, those people will definitely use this matter to kick me out of the board of directors. Before the oily middle-aged man could finish his words, academician Su's son Su Chen couldn't wait to step forward. Mr. Li, why are you here in person? How can I sit still after such a big thing has happened? But don't talk for now. I'll have a few words with this Taoist priest first. As he said this, Li Wanbo dismissed Suchen aside with an impatient expression, and then continued to say to Yang Lin with a look of prayer. Taoist master, I have seen your abilities just now. In addition, President Zhou of the Construction Engineering Group is also a friend of mine. So please see if you can help me think of a way to make this place more prosperous. After hearing this, Yang Lin finally understood what he meant. Do you want me to help you? Yes, that's right. If you are willing to take action, Taoist priest, the amount of money is not a problem. As soon as Li Wanbo said these words, some people in the live broadcast room couldn't sit still. Come on, Yang Lin has another account today. This Li Wanbo is the god of wealth in Jinghai. What do you mean, is he awesome? Of course he's awesome. If the rich people in Jinghai were ranked, he would be at least in the top 10. Even in the whole country, he could be in the top 100. This man is also a legend. In his early years, he did fishing and made money from fishing. Later he started ocean trading to make money. Then he started real estate, which happened to catch up with the development of real estate. Peak period. Every time I enter the market during the bonus period, I have never overturned the boat. I have no education and no talent. It all depends on luck. That's why I am called the god of wealth in Jinghai. Is he so awesome? How much money can he give to Yang Lin? A few million. Are you kidding? With millions, you look down on the god of wealth Jinghai too much. 10 million? No way. Just when netizens were wondering how much money Li Wanbo would pay Yang Lin, he suddenly took out a small abacus and fiddled with it. The next second he said an astonishing number in front of everyone. As long as you are willing to take action, Taoist master, I can give you 99,999,999 as a reward.